It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and our nation's capital, Washington, D.C. And this is news that you can use from CarEdge for Friday, June 7th, with your hosts, me, Ray, and, well, that good-looking dude with all that hair, Zach. How are you today, handsome?
I am doing great, Dad. Happy Friday to everyone. Today's show brought to you by us folks, CarEdge.com. If we can help you out, please let us do that. Car search, car buying service, car buying tools. You want to know what your car's worth, warranty and protection, all there and more. The lead story today, Dad?
Yes.
COVID cars, man. COVID cars are being traded back in. But what if they're missing components? Let's take a trip down memory lane. What happened during the microchip shortage of just a few years ago, Pops? I actually, if I'm not mistaken, it happened to your Mini that you drive, your new Mini. It doesn't have some of the features and equipment that it was supposed to have, correct?
I think that was my previous Mini. I can't keep. I've had but yes, there was something that my Mini normally would have had that it did not have, or one of my Minis, because, well, there was a chip shortage and manufacturers had to make decisions as to, do we just delete some of the content that's supposed to be part of the cars and build them with the chips that we have, or do we not build them at all? And, well, in most cases, most manufacturers said, it's supposed to have heated seats. We don't have the chip for your heated seats, so you're not getting your heated seats. And in some cases, it was items bigger than that people ended up not getting in their vehicles.
And so now you're ending up with a lot of used vehicles being traded back into dealerships that are missing components. And quite frankly, it's going to be unclear if they're actually in the vehicle, if they're on the original Windows sticker. There are some downstream impacts here now in the used car market, that these vehicles that were originally sold without equipment. And an example, go for it, Ted.
Well, all I was going to say is, I'm going to make this real easy for people. If it wasn't in it when it was built, it's not missing it when you're trading it in. Okay? It's not missing anything. What they're saying is that there were supposed to be things that were part of packages that ended up not being part of packages. But if they're not in there, if they weren't in there when they built it, it can't be missing today.
It certainly can, Dad. You remember GM came out and said, you know what? Just wait until mid-2022, go into your local dealer, and we'll get those heated seats working right about now. You cannot tell me there are not vehicles out there where people think that they went into the service department and got things added, or they did, but it wasn't done. Like, that's going on right now.
I know my seat keeps going down. I don't know what's going on right now. I don't know what people know or don't know. I must have been bouncing too much in my chair yesterday. I don't know what people know or they
drinking man.
Yeah, or they don't know. But I don't think it really matters. If it's not there and you can't turn it on, you're not missing it. Okay, so there's this odd misconception that it's going to impact trade-in values. It's not. And the reason it's not is the appraiser is going to look at the vehicle. He's going to look and see what equipment it has, and he's going to base his appraisal on the equipment that it has, not the equipment that it doesn't have.
But what's going to happen when that's now a used car for sale and people are used to XYZ make and model typically having heated seats or other components, and then next thing you know, I think it introduces some complexity for shoppers, because you're going to have to do an extra layer of due diligence to make sure that all the things you think are in the vehicle are actually there.
Well, guess what? You're going to look at the vehicle and you're either going to be pleased with the vehicle or you're not. And you're not going to miss the stuff that's not there. I'm sorry. We have a thing about us as a country where we like to make a bigger deal out of things than it really is. This is just one of those examples of, well, there probably isn't a problem, but if I phrase it properly, I can make it seem as if there's a problem. There isn't a problem. Okay? The problem could be that the quality of manufacturing left a little bit to be desired during COVID days, not the alleged missing options. And somebody said, yeah, but what about if it's on the Monroney label? It won't be. It might say on the Monroney label something that normally would have been on it, and then it has parenthesis around the amount of money for it, meaning it isn't in it. They subtracted, they gave you a credit for the item that isn't in it. So, when people are, let me help you with this. When people are buying a used car, they're buying a payment. Thank you. They're not buying what's in the damn thing for the most part. Will it get them from A to B?
Yeah.
And does it fit into their monthly budget? Oh my God, it doesn't have the heated steering wheel. I can't buy that. BS. People bought it new without it. Why wouldn't somebody buy it used without it?
With how complex trim distinctions can be, package distinctions can be, options distinctions can be, I personally have concern that already it is confusing in the used car market to make sure that the used car you're buying has everything you want. Like, there is no clearinghouse to get a window sticker for a used car. We've tried to build tools around it, and they've never been that successful. The best way you can get the window sticker for a used car is you check the glove compartment, and hopefully it's in there. I mean, I'm not being facetious here. It is very difficult to know on any used car what it actually has. And this is coming from someone who has spent millions of dollars over the past 4 years to try and get data quality at a high level in this industry. So it does give me some pause and concern for options packages. I don't know. I'm more concerned than you, obviously.
What if the missing component because of the chip shortage was the glove compartment? Where would that Monroney label be now? Just kidding. Okay, doesn't take a chip to have a glove box. I think this is a non-issue that someone was trying to make into an issue. I really believe that. And I saw a comment from Igor. Well, if you're in the Northeast and it doesn't have all-wheel drive or it doesn't have heated seats, well, that'll impact the value of the vehicle. Absolutely, it will. Which is why the appraiser is going to take all that into consideration when he puts a number on the vehicle.
I think you're thinking about it. I'm thinking about it from the used car buyer perspective, not the dealer appraising it as a trade-in. I'm thinking about it on the other side when I'm going out and I'm shopping and I might not realize these things. It creates that. This industry is predicated on information asymmetry. The less a customer knows, the better for the dealer. That's where the window sticker came from. My dad used to sell trucks before there were window stickers, okay? What would you price the car when there weren't window stickers on those trucks, Dad?
It depended on the excitement level of the customer.
So I'm just saying here, with some of these components missing from used cars, as used car shoppers go to market, you already are disadvantaged. You don't know what's actually in that vehicle because there is no clearinghouse to take that VIN, that vehicle identification number, and get the original window sticker. It does not exist. Okay. So now that there are packages and options and things potentially missing or components within options missing, it just creates information asymmetry.
Okay. You know what it creates? It creates a certain level of laziness on behalf of the consumer. Okay. And you're going to look at me and go, well, what do you mean by that? Well, I don't know. You get in the car, you look at all the buttons and all the functions, and either it has all the buttons and the functions that you want and they work, or it does not. And if one of the missing functions is something you can't live without, go find a different car. Okay, I really, in my absolute heart of hearts, from someone who spent 43 years helping people get into and out of cars. Okay, and I don't mean just by opening the door and giving them a hand. Okay, most used car buyers aren't going to care. They're just not. They're more concerned with, does it fit into my budget? Not, does it have this or that. They can look and see if it has this or that, and if it doesn't have this or that, and that is so important to them, they'll go look at a different vehicle. I don't think it's going to be as difficult as this writer was painting it to be. That's just my opinion.
I just want to run everyone through some examples here. This is from Car and Driver back in 2021. BMW, they were shipping vehicles that didn't have touchscreen functionality, so you could only use the trackpad. Okay, this was on X5s, X6s, X7s, the 4
Let me ask you a question. Do you think you could just live with it just having a trackpad?
No, Dad, I hear you, but I mean, okay, whatever.
I hear you. And what I hear you saying is this is going to confuse consumers.
100%.
Because they're going to think there's things in there that work that aren't in there.
100%. You've got Cadillac, those vehicles that didn't have Super Cruise. What's next on this list? Chevy and GMC trucks that don't have HD radio. Heated seats and heated steering wheels in Chevy and GMC products. You've got, what was this? This was Ford didn't have satellite navigation. GM products not having wireless charging. Mercedes-Benz not having premium audio, LED lights, and more. Nissan missing navigation systems. I mean, this is a pretty extensive and exhaustive list.
Yes, it is. And you think if you got in the car and you saw there was no navigation system, it's missing? You're just looking at it and go, the car didn't have nav. If it's not there, it's not missing.
V8 cylinder deactivation in the General Motors products. I mean, this is a long list. GM auto stop start. We agree to disagree on this one, Todd. I think it's going to be a big deal for car shoppers out there that are trying to make a smart decision about the used car they're going to buy.
Okay. You're frozen, buddy.
Hate when that happens. My computer's not keeping up. Why don't we switch gears then, Pops?
It probably has something missing that was supposed to have been built into it.
All right, let's have a quick bounce break and see if the chair breaks.
I'm afraid. I know the damn thing's going to go to the floor, and I don't want to be sitting in it when it does, and I bounce my chin off the tabletop. That could hurt.
Thank you for that, David. We appreciate the kind contribution. Before we go to our next story from Chad, hey guys, new owner of a 2024 GMC Sierra. What's the site you recommend for extended warranty? Don't trust the manufacturer anymore after getting screwed on my 2014 Silverado. CarEdge.com/warranty or extended-warranty. We have the flat markup, transparent pricing. It's through us. Please go check it out. And at a minimum, at least use it to negotiate with the dealer. Now, Dad, let's switch gears. May auto sales. The numbers are looking really, really good. Bigger incentive selection, lure customers back to dealerships. May selling rate top 16 million. 6 of the 7 reporting automakers saw sales gains in May. Analysts say sideline and patient consumers are starting to return. The table here is really compelling, man. I mean, everyone that reports had a huge May. Ford up. Yeah, 11%.
Just out of curiosity, how many manufacturers are there? So that we're basing all this on 7 manufacturers that actually reported.
There are about 30 major manufacturers.
You see Stellantis on there?
No.
You see GM on there?
No.
Oh my God! Is Volkswagen on there?
I don't think so.
What the hell are we basing all this nonsense on? We're missing so many of the major automobile manufacturers. And so we have people trying to extrapolate from the little bit of information they have where the market really is. I don't know where the market really is. They say that the seasonally adjusted sales rate is over 16 million based on the information that they have, which is about a third of the information they really need. So, take these, my God, I'm a contrarian today. Take these numbers with a grain of salt. Okay. there are certain things that we know for a fact. Okay, the certain things that we know for a fact is the amount of incentives most of the manufacturers are starting to offer are much higher than they had been at the same time last year. The amount of inventory that is either on hand or in transit for any given month is significantly higher today than what it was this time a year ago. The cost to have that inventory sit on your lot is significantly higher today because the interest rates governing your floor plan loan from your lending institution is running somewhere between 6.5% and 7.5%, when 2 years ago that number might have been 2% or 2.5%. So there are certain things that we know for sure. Then there are other things we have not a clue, because we're trying to base it on a third of the information. Based on what we do know for a fact, that would indicate in many cases that transaction prices for vehicles are actually starting to decline. And since this is the CarEdge plug segment, Zach, and since we help so many people buy cars in any given month, we see that empirically every day. We see the type of discounts that are available when we negotiate on behalf of people. We see how transaction prices have declined. We see how incentives have gone up. So we could very well be entering more of a buyer's market and exiting what had been for an extended period of time a seller's market. Those are facts that we do know.
And they are facts that we know, and not 7 out of 32 OEMs that are painting a very rosy picture for the industry. Here's the less rosy picture. This was shared with me, Dad, by one of our community members. New news: Stellantis is now offering dealers 60 to 90 days permanent deferments, or payment deferments, on floor plan charges if the dealerships are floor planned with Stellantis on new allocations that Stellantis needs the dealership to take, and the dealers are refusing to take it. That's how bad the situation is getting with Stellantis right now. This news is straight from my friend, who is the general manager at one of my old Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram dealerships. So that's some anecdata right there that Stellantis has now are giving deferments. This is what we talk about when consumers are going bad on their auto loans. You can ask the bank for a deferment. You can ask to pay it off later. That's now what Stellantis is doing to their dealer partners to just try and get them to take inventory.
And my suspicion would be that the dealer partners that really put pen to paper and figure out the math are going, even if they cover our floor plan costs for 90 days, we're still not going to come out ahead. It's still going to cost us way more by taking these cars that we don't need, that ultimately are going to end up sitting here for 180, 200 days, 250 days. You're not improving your lot in life if today you have too much inventory and you decide to, well, let's add more to that. That's not going to help you sell what you have. That just means you're being swayed by some dollars that are being shaken in front of your eyes, and it's causing this like an illusion of money to be made, when ultimately, when you put pen to paper based on your daily travel rate, which is the number of cars you sell on a daily basis, when you base it on that, you're going to go, even if they paid for 120 days, we're still going to come out on the losing end of this deal. Okay.
It is interesting though, Dad. You see the automaker desperately trying to wholesale their inventory, right? Like, think about this for a second. What Stellantis could be doing right now is taking whatever dollars they're allocating towards floor plan assistance to dealers and using those as consumer incentives. Hey, 0% financing, bigger cash offers. but they're not. And instead, they're throwing money at dealers who are where they sell their cars. So when Stellantis reports their earnings, do they care about retail sales? Sure, they care about retail sales. What do they care more about? Wholesale. What did they sell to their dealers? Because that's how they get paid. That's how they make money. I just find it fascinating, the psychology right there, that they are not incentivizing downstream customers to buy cars. They're saying, dealers, you go figure that out. Instead, they're saying, dealers, we're incentivizing you. We're giving you money. Nissan did the same thing, by the way.
Yes.
We covered the Nissan story about a month ago now, or a couple of weeks ago. Nissan flashing money in front of their dealers to take inventory, even though their lots are overflowing. It's a really, I think, going to end up being a bad playbook, one that doesn't end well, risky. Because it's a risky playbook. Yeah,
very risky. And trust me, the manufacturer, in this case Stellantis, is counting on their dealers not putting pen to paper. They are hoping that the vast majority of the dealers are just going to see the dollars that are being waved at them and think, yeah, this makes great sense, until they figure out what their daily travel rate is. And then they're going to, and once they've committed to this, 120 days from now, when they're sitting on an extra 200 cars from that they didn't have in the past, they're going to be going, oh my God, look how much this is costing us.
Yeah.
And I'm just, there are too many dealers out there that don't always analyze what it is. The factory's not doing this because it's necessarily in the best interest of the dealer. Okay. Mm-hmm. The factory's doing it because, well, they perceive that it's in their best interest. It just reminds me of the concept I always had with most of the manufacturers that I represented. They always like to talk to us like they were our partner. They were not our partner. Okay. I'm not saying they're an adversary, but they're not our partner. If they were our partner at the end of the year, if after we took all the extra cars they wanted us to take, that we ended up being unprofitable as our partner, perhaps they would have said, well, we will write you a check to make you whole. Not one of them ever said that. Not one of them ever did that. Okay. They're trying to protect their best interest. It's the dealer's job, when dealing with his manufacturer, to protect his own best interests. And sometimes in protecting your best interests as a dealer is to say to your manufacturing partner, no, can't take any more cars. Don't give a damn how much money you dangle in front of me. It does not make good economic sense for me to do it, so we will not. And that's what dealers have to do sometimes.
100%. And we're going to touch on another story here in just a second that dovetails nicely into this one. Before we do, I just want to turn here from Igor saying dealers still turning down allocations even with the offer from Stellantis. That's
smart ones would be, yeah.
And we've got from Matthew Hoskin, thank you. Heated wheel is make or break, Ray. Y'all should build an industry-wide VIN decoder as part of Vehicle History Report. Filling characters dance, right? Thank you for that, Matthew. We are working. There's a huge overhaul going on right now on the CarEdge car search, like huge overhaul. Patrick, thank you for your efforts on that. We should have something here within the next couple, hopefully months, hopefully even sooner, but huge data overhaul in CarEdge land to try and make things even better. A question from Nathan, and then we're going to turn our attention to that next story. Zach and Ray, if a vehicle sits for 100, 200 plus days, is the dealership servicing them? Oil changes? Do they just sit there until someone buys them? What do we need to know about cars that sit?
Well, no, they wouldn't be doing oil changes. If they're smart, they're at least starting the cars occasionally and letting them run so that the batteries don't get completely drained. They should be checking the batteries on a monthly basis to see what type of state of charge they're at. They need to be moving and driving those vehicles, because as they sit, if they just sit in the same spot for months on end, I don't know, there's something about rubber on asphalt as it warms up that, well, the rubber that's touching the asphalt gets what's known as a flat spot. So the tires are going to develop flat spots, and you can take it out on the highway and drive it for 30 minutes, and those flat spots ain't going to go away. So there's things that they need to do. There's things that they need to check on, and in most cases, they're probably not doing them or checking on them. So
There's been some vehicles that dealers have had for over a year, and we recommend people like obviously do an intense test drive, but maybe even get an inspection on it.
Yes, I mean, I can't tell you how many times I had to replace tires on a brand new car that had sat for a while, because you can't get especially on a run flat tire. You're not getting the flat spots out. What you're doing is you're taking the tires off and putting fresh ones on. And the other issue that people really don't recognize very often is the fact that once the dealer actually sells that new car to a retail customer, that's when the manufacturer will start incurring expenses on that vehicle again. As it sits at the dealer's lot, it's the dealer's responsibility to take care of all this stuff. Once it's owned by the retail customer and there's warranty work that needs to be done and recalls, and the manufacturer's paying for that nonsense. So whatever profit they had is starting to diminish on each one of those vehicles that they had wholesaled once they are retailed.
Yeah, definitely. There's no incentive to really move those aged pieces of inventory from the manufacturer. It's the dealer's prerogative. Dad, I want to remind everyone back on CarEdge.com, under resources, folks, is every single thing we have for free. Deal School, we worked on this for a long time. I know I'm coming on here often and pitching our car buying service, our insights product, etc. There is still an intense and meaningful amount of free items. Intense, meaningful is all I meant to say. Meaningful amount of free items back on CarEdge.com. Deal School is 100% free. It walks you through lesson by lesson, as well as every single lesson has a PDF that you can download, as well as a community chat on that particular section of the course and key takeaways. So please, if you are not using Deal School, CarEdge.com/Deal School to buy a car. If you're not using that, you should. You absolutely should. Please take a peek. We are going to go to Really You've Got to Be Kidding Me in just a moment. But before we do, Po Louie, thank you.
Thank you.
From Chloe Po, thank you. Received my Cybertruck invite yesterday. Conflicted since I just bought the poopy deal Titan. What should I do, Ray? Your thoughts, Pops?
My thoughts are I'll keep that damn Titan. I would much rather have that Titan than that Cybertruck or whatever.
From Po Louie.
Yes.
From Po Louie. Recently had our first kid and need to upgrade to an SUV. I'm looking at an X5 or X3, but my 330i lease doesn't end until October 1st. Am I better off waiting out or taking advantage now? What's your thoughts on this, Dad, when you've got a lease coming due in the future?
You're better off finding out if there's any incentive programs from BMW to get people out of their leases early. Oftentimes, BMW will have what they call lease pull-ahead programs where they will make up to typically 3 lease payments to help get the customer out of the car earlier so that they can get into a new car sooner. So that's the first thing I would be checking on, is if there's any factory-sponsored lease pull-ahead programs that would be making some of the payments for them.
Do that, Po Louie, and let us know where you net out. You ready?
Really? You gotta be kidding me.
Fourth week, fourth exec leaving Stellantis. Longtime Jeep executive Jim Morrison leaves Stellantis. Morrison headed Jeep in North America from 2019 through 2023 when he was put in charge of the new Jeep Performance Parts division. This is the fourth major executive from a Stellantis company to leave in as many weeks.
Do you know what the Jeep Performance Center developed? The Performance Parts Center developed? They developed an electronic foot with a boot on it that kicks executives in the ass to kick them right out the door.
I thought you were gonna say something like they developed the track hawk, and that would have made sense. But that was pretty good, man.
No, they developed that electronic foot with boot attached that kicks all their executives in the ass and says, "Hey, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for all those years of service. Now get out." Yeah,
Dude, they're cleaning house over there, man. Every week there's a major executive being fired.
yeah. Well, they're not being fired. They're leaving
Retiring.
on their own.
Yeah, they're retiring.
They're leaving on their own to pursue other interests that they didn't know they had. Okay, it is not a good time to be a C-level or higher executive at Stellantis products in America, in North America. It is just not. So this is just another shining example of those who have had long, dedicated careers with Stellantis, who are now, I don't know, collecting severance and working on their memoirs.
Yeah, exactly. Thought it was incredible to see fourth week.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Who's next?
Incredible. Exactly.
Who
Stay
is
tuned.
next? Yeah.
All right, folks. Friendly reminder: CarEdge.com. If we can help you out, please go check it out. Dad, that's a show. That's a wrap. You've got the electric show with Justice coming up in about 10-15 minutes over on CarEdge Electric. So please go tune in for that.
We do. Yes. Yeah. Looking forward to it. We should be discussing, well, all kinds of really pertinent and important things in regards to EV adoption in this country. Chloe Bo, you're killing me.
Be careful, Dad.
Well, I'm trying not to really bounce on the chair.
Matthew with some insights saying there might be better loyalty in the fall, so keep that in mind. Louis, thank you, Matthew, for the kind contribution. Tune in over on CarEdge Electric. We'll be back here on this channel Monday, 9 a.m. in the Pacific time zone, 12 p.m. here on the East Coast. Dad, enjoy the upcoming weekend. Enjoy your Friday afternoon. I love you very much, and good luck with your chair.
Yeah, I love you as well, and good luck with your Iron Man on Sunday, is it?
Yeah, folks, I'm doing my third ever 70.3 Ironman on Sunday. So I'll report back on Monday and let you know how it goes. But that's in Cambridge, Maryland this weekend. I'll be out there doing that. So thank you, Dad. Appreciate it.
Yes. You can report back to me sooner. I don't want to have to wait till Monday to find out if you survive.
I'll call you on the drive home and let you know how it went. All right, everyone. Enjoy the weekend. Love you, Dad.
Love you too. Talk to you later, everybody.